There are many different timelines in the Halloween franchise, way more than any other horror franchise, pretty sure. And we're going to rank them all right now. For those that do not know, there are technically 5 official Halloween timelines. But to a lot of people, including myself, you can come up with different variations of timelines to where you can kind of end a timeline based off your preferences of what you enjoy in the franchise. I left a poll on my channel recently if you guys wanted to have me break down every individual timeline. You guys voted that you would rather get the official 5 timelines. So we're not going to leave anything off based off what the movies actually set up and ended on. But just for fun, I'm going to give you the honorable mentions of what those other different timelines could have been. And if you're interested in me making a video about those other timelines, we can talk about it in another video. Gonna rattle them off quick so we can get right into the ranking. There are different interpretations on how you can break off different timelines. Some people might just end it at the original. Some people might do 1 and 2, Halloween 1 and 2, and end it there and say that's good enough. That's a timeline. I'm good with it. Some people might watch Halloween 1 and 2018, 40 years later, and say that's the perfect timeline. That's all I need. Some people might go 1, 2, and 4, end with the Jamie Lloyd story in that fashion, and say I don't need to see 5 and 6. End it there. There's some people that can also say I liked Kills enough to where I could go 1, 2018, Kills, but I don't want to watch ends, so we're going to end it there. Another very popular one that a lot of people like to believe in is that you could do 1, 2, and H2O and forget Resurrection ever happened and end it there. There's lots of different interpretations of timelines of what you can do, and I thought about ranking them, but again, you guys voted to see the official based off what actually was released in theaters and when the studios themselves ended the timelines. Leave a comment down below. Where do you like to end your timelines? Is there a fun, unique one? Like I said, end it at H2O and say that's good enough. End it at 4. Maybe end it at 5. Maybe you don't want to see Curse of Michael Myers. I don't know. Some people might just do 1 and 3 because they like the Anthology story. Leave a comment down below. What is your fun variation of a timeline? Now, let's rank the real official timelines. Okay, coming at number 5, we have Halloween 3, which is the Anthology timeline. A very, very easy pick for me. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch is easily the weakest timeline because it's technically just one movie. Now, you can include Halloween 1 and 3 and call it an anthology somewhat. I guess you can include both if you want. But in reality, Halloween 3 is its own pocket universe. It's its own separate thing that's completely different from the rest of the franchise. And I am someone which you will see in a future ranking video and possibly just a video itself. When it comes to Halloween 3, I'm not that big on it. Halloween 3 seems to be gaining a cult following, and it is not the reason why I don't like this movie, but for a timeline sense, yeah, it doesn't have Michael Myers. So for a franchise that is about Michael Myers, really, how can I put a one movie that's better than a timeline filled with multiple other movies, by the way? This is just one movie and one movie alone. Now, if this was one of my favorites in the franchise, maybe it would go higher, but it's competed against multiple movies in other timelines. Coming in at number 4, we have the Rob Zombie Halloween timeline. The reason why I have the Rob Zombie timeline above Halloween 3 is, 1, it has 2 movies compared to 1, and it technically is a Michael Myers story. Again, I am not that big on Halloween 3. I'm not that big on the Rob Zombie films either. I grew up kind of liking the first one when it came out to some degree, and I hated Rob Zombie Halloween 2. Now, I like Rob Zombie Halloween 2 more than 1, surprisingly. I think there's some artistic merit to Rob Zombie Halloween 2. It's still raunchy, it's still Rob Zombie, and that's why I can't go any higher, because just like Halloween 3, I don't look at Rob Zombie's Halloween as like the real version of Michael Myers. It's like this other thing to me. But it does technically have Michael, and it has 2 movies, and I like Rob Zombie Halloween 2 probably more than Halloween 3. I know, probably blasphemy to some people. I don't think Halloween 3 is that good. I think Halloween 3 is probably better than Rob Zombie 1, but that's for a ranking video. I can go either way. I recently watched Halloween 3 for the second time in my life. I watched it the first time a couple years ago. Watched it again a couple weeks ago because I see so many people praise this movie like it's a top 3 movie in the franchise. It's not. It's definitely not. So, whatever. If you want to put the Anthology timeline above Rob Zombie, I don't care. The Rob Zombie movies aren't that good. If you want to hear more thoughts of my opinions on the Rob Zombie movies, I have a collab with this guy named Wrestling with Horror on YouTube where we talk about Rob Zombie Halloween 1 and 2 for 4.5 hours. So if you're a mega fan of the Rob Zombie films, I'll try to leave a link somewhere or I'll point you in the right direction to go watch us talk about it for 4.5 hours. Something I did last year, so definitely go check that out. Coming in at number 3, we have the Halloween 40, aka Blumhouse, aka David Gordon Green trilogy. Yes, the Blumhouse trilogy is my number 3 favorite timeline. Everything from here, 3, 2, and 1, all those timelines I like. They all have elements of great Michael Myers Halloween movies. They all have movies I like. The reason why Halloween, the Blumhouse trilogy, is at number 3 and not in my top 2 is 2 simple facts. 1, they ignore the brother-sister angle. A lot of people loved it when they announced it with 2018, and in hindsight, I appreciate that we have 2 different versions, where we have the brother-sister angle, and we also have this new non-family ties, right? I like that we have that option now in hindsight, but I enjoy that interpretation more, having the nostalgic value of what the franchise always was, which was Michael Myers going after his blood relatives. And more to that, the biggest reason why this is number 3 and not in my top 2 favorite timelines is I absolutely hate Halloween Ends. I hate it so much. It is by far the worst in the franchise for me. Spoilers for Ray Rankin. I hate Halloween Ends. I know there is a cult following for that movie too. I do not get it. There are people out there that hate Halloween Resurrection because they say it disrespects Michael Myers. Most people have Resurrection at the very bottom of their ranking. But some reason there's a cult following and there's a pass for Halloween Ends. There's not a movie in this franchise that disrespects Michael Myers more than Halloween Ends. It has a random character named Corey that just punks Michael Myers. I can't stand it. I have videos on Halloween Ends. You can go check them out where I go in depth about that. I have a recent video from last year where I said Halloween Ends is still trash. Go check that out. That pretty much will explain all my thoughts. I like 2018. I like Kills. I think James Jude Courtney is possibly the best Michael Myers. It's one of the best masks, one of the best interpretations. It's definitely in the conversation. So there's a lot to like about the Blumhouse trilogy. But Ends falls off such a strong cliff that I just can't put it higher. I hate Ends that much, and again, I like the blood relative storyline more than what they do with the Blumhouse trilogy. Okay, before we get into my top 2, leave a comment down below. What is your favorite Halloween timeline? Rank your official timelines down below. My top 2, it's a very, very tough decision. I love elements of both of these timelines very, very much. I can go really either way. I pretty much like all the movies in each of these timelines, compared to where Halloween Ends in the Blumhouse trilogy, I didn't. So, we gotta make a decision though. But coming in at number 2, we have the Halloween H2O timeline. That is Halloween 1, Halloween 2, H2O, and, yes, and Resurrection. I don't hate Resurrection as much as most people. I actually kind of enjoy it, and I have a lot of nostalgia for it. The Halloween movies I grew up on the most as a young kid was Halloween 1, 4, 5, and Resurrection. Resurrection is the first one I ever saw in theaters. I never thought it was considered a bad Halloween movie until I got older and started watching YouTube videos and watching people rank them. Lots of people rank them. And having Resurrection at the bottom seems like 9 out of 10 times. I don't get it. I think Busta Rhymes is a lot of fun. I think the movie is self-aware. It knows what it is. It's very nostalgic. It's a very 2000s teen movie. American Pie-esque. Even has an American Pie actor in the movie. So I have fun with it. Is it a perfect movie? No, but I think it is way better than some of the worst movies in this franchise and the way people make it out to be. I think there's worse movies in other franchises, in Friday the 13th, in Nightmare on Elm Street. Those bottom of the barrel movies, I think Halloween Resurrection blows them out the water. Again, I don't even think Resurrection's bad. But that's not the reason why it's above the Blumhouse. It's above the Blumhouse because I love H2O that much. I think H2O is a better story than 2018. I think 2018 clearly has a better Myers, has a better mask, better kills, and whatnot. But I think Laurie Strode is so much better and makes so much more sense in H2O compared to 2018, to where not only does it have the brother-sister angle, so there's actual reason for Michael to go after her again, right? But also, it's only 20 years later, so her psychosis and the things that she goes through in H2O make way more sense because 20 is way closer in proximity than 40 years. On top of, it includes the events of Halloween 2. I like including Halloween 2 in the timeline. I think the events of Halloween 2, where Michael kills a lot more people in the hospital than he does in just the first movie. If you include Halloween 1 and 2, it would make a lot more sense for someone to be as freaked out as they are of Michael Myers in H2O and that timeline, compared to, I didn't explain my gripes in the Blumhouse trilogy, but that's probably my third reason about the Blumhouse trilogy, is that it doesn't make sense for Laurie Strode to be as crazy as she is when you only include the events of Halloween 1. Because, as terrible as it is in Halloween 1, the stuff that Michael does, not having that family ties connection, it doesn't make sense for Laurie in Halloween 2018 to be as crazy as she is 40 years later, only based off the events of Halloween 1, because it was a random incident. Why would she be training thinking Michael's going to come back for her whole life? Doesn't make sense. In Halloween H2O, Laurie Strode's story makes a lot more sense. She doesn't hunker down. She's like, I need to get away because my brother is still on the loose. He's still out there. That's something about 2018. He was in jail. He was in prison for the longest time. H2O, nobody knew where Michael was. So she knew that he could come back one day. So she's constantly paranoid and, drinking and, just her mental health is not in the best place, right? She changes her name. She does everything she could to get away from Michael. That makes a lot more sense to me, especially when you include how devastated Michael was in Halloween 2. And again, if you want to do a variation timeline, some people would say just watch 1, 2, H2O, and call it a day, and that you got a perfect timeline. But that's not what we're doing today. We are including the entire bunch. We do include Resurrection. But for me also, I like Resurrection more than Ends. I don't think Resurrection is bad. I think it's a fun time. So, it's clearly above the Blumhouse trilogy for me for that reason. But coming in at number 1, we have the original timeline, the Dr. Loomis timeline, or even the Thorn-ish timeline, some would say. That's something I should also include, is that the Thorn trilogy is almost its own timeline. But we are including everything from 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6. Halloween 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6. That's the timeline. It's the original one. It was before they deviated elsewhere to other things. Yes, they deviated kinda with Halloween 3 for a little bit, but then Halloween 4 brought it back to the return of Michael Myers, and then we pretend Halloween 3 never happened. And I have a lot of reasons why Halloween, the original timeline, is my favorite, but a couple big reasons is, 1, nostalgia. It has a lot of the movies I grew up with, 1, 4, and 5, as I said earlier. But Halloween 2 is also obviously very iconic, nostalgic. I like Halloween 6 too. I like The Curse of Michael Myers. It's one that has grown on me so much over the years. It's not one I grew up on loving, but now he's one of my favorite versions of Michael Myers. It's one of my favorite masks in the franchise. I love the atmosphere. I think it has one of the best fall atmospheres in Halloween 6. Halloween 6 and Halloween 4, I think, are probably the top 2 in that category. I would have to think hard, and maybe I'll make a ranking on that, but they're definitely in the conversation, right? They're a lot of fun. I grew up on Halloween 5. I liked Halloween 5. As a kid, it was one of my favorite movies. But now I do see the flaws of it. I'm not as big of a fan of it now. It has one of the worst masks in the franchise. What they do with Rachel is kind of disrespectful. It's definitely disrespectful. What they do with Jamie could have been a lot better, right? And overall, the biggest flaw with Halloween 5 is that it kind of can be incredibly boring. It's a lot harder to rewatch than a lot of other movies. But when you compare with the other Halloween movies that are bad or not as good or highly whatever, Halloween 5 is at the top of the pack, better than all the worst movies in the franchise for me. But I love Halloween 4 so much that any timeline that's going to have Halloween 4 is definitely going to have it. Again, I like the family ties. I thought it was very creative, very crazy that they included Michael moving on from his sister Lori to her daughter Jamie, a 9-year-old girl, his niece, who he's now going after. When I was a little kid growing up watching this movie, it made me afraid of Michael Myers even more so because it made me feel like Michael could actually come after me, because he's not going after just the teenagers and the adults and whoever. He's going after the 9-year-old little girl. So when I'm watching this as a 5-year-old kid, 3-year-old kid, whatever, I started watching Halloween at 3 years old. It made me believe that Michael would have no problem coming after me. So Halloween 4 means a lot to me. This timeline means a lot to me. And a big, big reason behind this timeline in general, on top of everything else I just said, is that this is the timeline that has Donald Pleasance, Dr. Loomis. And as much as I love H2O, I told you I like Resurrection. 2018 is cool. Kills is pretty cool. Right? I can find enjoyment in other iterations after Dr. Loomis. But there's something nostalgic and just awesome and powerful about the movies, the Halloween movies that have Dr. Loomis. The franchise has never been the same since Donald Pleasance has not been in the franchise. As much as I love H2O, it is not the same without Dr. Loomis. Dr. Loomis is probably the most important character in the franchise to me. I think, Laurie Strode is put on a pedestal. Jamie Lee Curtis is put on a pedestal. But that first original movie would not be what it was without Dr. Loomis hyping up the embodiment of evil in Michael Myers. He set the standard. He set the stage of who Michael Myers was and the threat that he was. It wasn't just a man. It wasn't just a random serial killer who's just a little crazy and puts on a mask. No. Dr. Loomis put the fear in all of us that this man, Michael, was not just a man. He was the embodiment of evil. And he had the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. And you should be afraid of him. Dr. Loomis is the one that set up all those monologues to make us believe all that. And as much as most people don't like Halloween 5, or a lot of people don't, one of Dr. Loomis's best lines is in Halloween 5, where he says, and I'm going to quote it exactly here. He says, "I prayed that he would burn in hell, but in my heart, I knew that hell would not have him." That is fire. That is crazy. So even in some of the lesser movies, respectfully, to most fans in the franchise, Dr. Loomis still drops gold mines in every single movie. You could argue and debate all day. What was Dr. Loomis's best performance? Some would say the original. Some would say 2, some would say 4. Again, Loomis goes a little too crazy in Halloween 5, but he has one of the best lines he's ever had in that movie. And Halloween 6 is a nice little send-off. You have the theatrical cut and the producer's cut, but we're not here to get into all that. Regardless, Dr. Loomis's presence is so important to the Halloween franchise, and that is why the original timeline, Halloween 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6, is clearly to me the best and most iconic timeline in the Halloween franchise. Okay, so that is my ranking of the 5 official Halloween timelines. Leave a comment below. What is your ranking of the timelines? And is there some fun little variations that you like to maybe cut off with, or you wish they cut off at? Let's just get all into it. The Halloween timelines are crazy, but us as Halloween fans, that's what's exciting about it, is that there are movies in every single timeline I think everybody likes, for the most part. So that's why it's a debate, because you might have your favorite movie in one timeline, or your second or third, but they're not in the other one, and it makes it very interesting to debate, and it makes it very tough, because you might be leaving out one of your favorite movies in a different timeline. So it's cool, it's fun, and us Halloween fans love to nerd out about it. So subscribe if you want to see more Halloween content. I have more coming up soon. Definitely going to have a Halloween ranking video by the end of the month. If you have not seen and you're new to this channel, I just made a Halloween Michael Myers mask ranking videos, tier list video. I rank all the Michael Myers masks for the most part in tier list format Definitely go check that out. Thanks again to all my recent subscribers as well. My channel is starting to do a lot better than what it used to be. It's not anything super crazy, but for me, it is. I'm getting more subscribers than I ever had before, so thank you so much for the support, and I'll see you guys next time. More Halloween content coming soon.